He was supposed to be untouchable. The kid who made it out of nowhere, cracked 1 million live viewers, and turned streaming into a global spectacle. But scroll through Twitter today, and it feels like everyone's forgotten that. Kai is the fakest human in streaming. Corporate robot. Soulless content machine. Just a year ago, those same timelines were celebrating him. Clips of Kai handing out PCs to broke fans, crying with viewers, or hugging kids who called him their hero. He was the people's streamer. Funny, generous, authentic. The kind of guy viewers said finally made the right person famous. So what changed? How did the internet's golden boy become the streamer everyone loves to hate? There wasn't one scandal that took him down. No exposed messages or career-ending leak. It was slower, quieter, and maybe even more dangerous than that. Little moments stacked up. Broken promises, strange choices, and a version of Kai that started feeling less like the friend next door, and more like a brand. By 2025, that shift had turned into something impossible to ignore. Every new video brought backlash. Every live stream, a fresh thread accusing him of selling out. He was still breaking records, but the same people who built his empire were now tearing it apart. But this turn didn't happen overnight. It started years earlier, with a grind that most people never saw, and one bold gamble that would rewrite streaming history. Everyone calls him an overnight success. But the truth? Kai was on the grind for nearly a decade before anyone cared. Long before Twitch deals or brand sponsors, he was just a 13-year-old kid filming comedy skits in his bedroom. Blurry phone camera, bad lighting, real hunger. While most teens were scrolling, he was editing sketches for Facebook and Instagram, trying to get anyone to notice. He didn't. Not for years. But the thing about Kai, he didn't stop. By 2018, he moved to YouTube. Still small, still struggling, but the vision never changed. Then came a breakthrough. Meeting Phantom, another creator with the same energy and drive. That friendship pulled him into the AMP group, a collective that would change everything. AMP wasn't polished or corporate back then. It was chaotic, funny, and raw. Exactly the kind of energy that drew people in. For the first time, Kai wasn't just another funny guy online. He had a crew, a personality, a platform that fit his style. And when the views finally started to climb, a few thousand, then hundreds of thousands, he made a decision most people would never risk. He dropped out of college. Because in his mind, this wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was survival. He'd grown up watching his mom stretch every dollar, even spending nights in a homeless shelter. So when the numbers started rising, he saw one thing, a way out. And he went all in. That's the part people forget. Before the $1 million deals and viral collabs, there was a kid betting everything on himself. No sponsors, no safety net, just raw persistence. By 2021, Kai switched to Twitch. Within months, the energy that once filled short YouTube clips started lighting up live streams. Viewers didn't just watch, they connected. He was funny, genuine, unpredictable. It felt like hanging out with a friend who just happened to be famous. And that's when the momentum exploded. Because right after that switch, Kai made a move that would rewrite streaming history. One that would skyrocket him to the top of the platform and make his name impossible to ignore. The moment everything changed came in early 2023. Kai decided to try something most streamers wouldn't even attempt, a month-long subathon. 24 hours a day, live. No edits, no retakes. Just him, his chat, and a challenge that could break him or make him. He called it Mafiathon. And it didn't just work, it exploded. Within days, his numbers shattered records. Tens of thousands turned into hundreds of thousands. Celebrities started dropping by. Rappers, athletes, A-listers, not for interviews, but to hang out. It didn't feel like a stream anymore. It felt like culture happening in real time. Then, the unthinkable. By the end of February, Kai had become one of the most subscribed Twitch streamers of all time. Over 326,000 paid subs. a number no one thought possible for a solo creator. He turned a live stream into a historic event. And when that month finally ended, Kai wasn't just a streamer anymore. He was a phenomenon. But instead of slowing down, he doubled down. Later that year came Mafiathon 2, and then Mafiathon 3, breaking past 1 million active subscribers, a record no one else had ever touched. He became the face of Twitch, the blueprint for how far a creator could go. Brands lined up, Twitch plastered him across their homepage, and fans treated every stream like an event. From the outside, it looked perfect. Unstoppable growth, unlimited momentum. But inside the hype, something was shifting. The show got bigger, the guests got flashier, and the man who once built everything on being real started to look more like a performer than a person. And that's where the cracks started to show. Because once you reach the top, every move is magnified. Every joke, every promise, every silence. And soon, one promise in particular would come back to haunt him. At the height of his fame, Kai wanted to prove he wasn't just another entertainer chasing numbers. He wanted to give back. In 2024, during one of his biggest streams, he made a promise that instantly went viral: to build a new school for children in Makoko, Nigeria, one of the country's poorest communities. The clip spread everywhere. A 23-year-old millionaire telling hundreds of thousands of viewers that he'd fund classrooms, teachers, and supplies for kids who barely had walls to learn in. It was powerful, emotional, and for a moment, it reminded everyone why they loved him in the first place. Comments flooded in. "This man is changing lives. Realest streamer alive." People cried, fans donated, headlines praised him for using his platform for good. But then, months passed. No updates, no photos, no reports. The same audience that once cheered him on started asking questions. Where's the school? Did he really do it? And as the silence grew, so did the rumors. By mid-2025, a tweet went viral claiming a YouTuber had visited the supposed school and found nothing. The post framed it as proof that Kai's promise was fake, that the video from Nigeria was just a PR stunt. It didn't help that Kai hadn't addressed the situation at all. What people didn't realize, though, was that the viral clip was misleading. The YouTuber had filmed a completely different location, but by the time that detail surfaced, the damage was done. Once the internet decides you're lying, explanations sound like excuses. When Kai finally broke his silence, he said the project was still underway, that the location made construction harder than expected, and that the process would take over 2 years to finish. He even showed a short clip of workers on site, clearing land and preparing materials. But to many, it was too little, too late. The same people who once saw him as genuine now accused him of performing generosity for views. And that shift from "thank you" to "prove it" was brutal. Because the problem wasn't just the school anymore. It was the image. The idea that Kai had turned every good deed into a headline, then disappeared when the cameras stopped rolling. And that perception, fair or not, is what started eroding the trust he'd spent years building. But just when fans thought his silence couldn't get any louder, another controversy hit. This time involving the biggest charity event on the internet, and Kai's complete absence from it. When the biggest creators on YouTube and Twitch came together to launch Team Water, everyone was watching. It was a massive charity drive, spearheaded by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober, promising to bring clean drinking water to millions of people around the world. Every dollar donated meant one person helped for an entire year. Thousands of creators joined in. Streams turned into fundraising events. Timelines filled with links and totals rising by the second. But while everyone else was posting their donations, one name was missing: Kai Cenat. No video, no tweet, not even a passing mention. And that silence got loud. At first, fans brushed it off. Maybe he planned to donate privately. Maybe he just hadn't gotten around to it. But then things escalated when Mr. Beast himself tried to call Kai during a charity stream, live, to ask if he wanted to join in. Kai didn't answer. The clip went viral instantly. Comments flooded in. He answers rappers faster than he answers for charity. Where's that energy when it's about helping people? And then, to make the optics worse, Aiden Ross jumped in with a challenge. If Kai donates $400K, I'll match it, dollar for dollar. That should have been the perfect redemption moment. A quick call, a single tweet, even a symbolic donation could have flipped the story overnight. But again, silence. To some, that silence spoke volumes, especially coming from a streamer who never shies away from showing off his lifestyle. Cars, jewelry, multi-million-dollar setups. When it came to flexing, he was loud. When it came to giving, suddenly, quiet. Now, some fans defended him, saying charity isn't a competition, and that Mr. Beast calling him out live was out of line. After all, no one should be pressured into donating just to look good. But others saw it differently. They said it wasn't about the money. It was about integrity. If you spend years building an image around generosity, disappearing during the biggest charity movement of the year feels off. By the time the trend passed, the damage was done. The silence became part of his story. Another data point in the Kai only helps when cameras are on narrative. And that's the thing about the internet. Once people start doubting your motives, even your wins start looking staged. But while charity drama hurt his image, the next chapter would cut deeper. Because when Kai tried to give back again, this time through an ambitious new project for creators, the backlash didn't just return, it multiplied. By mid-2025, Kai had already conquered Twitch. Million-dollar deals, record-breaking subathons, and a fan base that could crash servers on command. So, what do you do when you've already done everything? You try something no one's done before. That's how Streamer University was born. A week-long live event where up-and-coming creators would live, learn, and compete under Kai's mentorship. A content bootcamp promising to teach the next generation how to make it. It sounded brilliant on paper. Part reality show, part experiment, part redemption story for the critics calling him out of touch. But the second the cameras started rolling, everything spiraled. What was supposed to be educational turned into a circus. Contestants complained about favoritism, saying some participants were handpicked from Kai's circle. Pranks blurred the line between fun and humiliation. One clip even showed a student being targeted for laughs, while others stood by awkwardly. The chat was divided, half laughing, half saying, "This feels wrong." Then came the chaos off camera. A stream sniper managed to sneak into the building. Technical issues knocked streams offline for hours, and every problem, every glitch, every awkward moment played out live in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers. Instead of looking like a visionary leader, Kai started to look unprepared. The event that was meant to showcase his growth ended up amplifying everything critics accused him of: disorganization, ego, and a need to control the spotlight. Even Kai seemed to realize it by the end. In one clip, he admitted the whole thing had been way harder and way more expensive than he expected. He even hinted that there might never be a Streamer University 2. But by then, the internet had already made up its mind. To fans who once loved him for his authenticity, this wasn't the Kai they remembered. This was a celebrity trying to act like a mentor and failing in real time. The fallout was immediate. Memes, criticism, even former supporters calling it the fakest thing he's ever done. And as that criticism piled up, it exposed something deeper. Kai's relationships, both online and off, were starting to crack. Because while Streamer University made him look out of touch, his next moves made people question whether he even cared about the people who helped him get here in the first place. Fame is loud, but what really ruins you isn't the noise. It's the silence after. By late 2025, Kai's numbers were still massive. Mafiathon 3 had broken records no one thought possible. He was sitting on top of Twitch, surrounded by success, luxury, and endless headlines. But behind all that noise, something had shifted. The connection, the spark that once made people feel like they knew him, was gone. Fans who used to call him one of us now called him corporate. Every laugh sounded rehearsed. Every reaction looked planned. Even his friendships, the ones that helped build his rise, started to fall apart in public. It began quietly, ignoring calls from old collaborators, leaving smaller creators hanging mid-collab. A stream where he forgot about a planned tournament and started doing something else entirely, while thousands of viewers watched a confused guest sit alone on camera. Moments like that didn't just make him look busy, they made him look indifferent. And then came the bots. Streams from Kai's circle suddenly showed bizarre spikes, thousands of unverified viewers appearing out of nowhere. Other streamers called it out, saying something didn't add up. Instead of addressing it head-on, Kai got defensive, firing back in a rant that only made him look more frustrated than innocent. The internet noticed, and once again, the fake label grew louder. But maybe the real problem isn't that he changed. Maybe it's that his audience never expected him to. People loved the underdog, the kid with no safety net and no filter. Now they're watching a millionaire with sponsorships and security guards and trying to pretend he's still the same. It's the curse of online fame. The moment you win, you stop being relatable. And Kai's been winning for a long time. Still, even with the backlash, the numbers don't lie. He's huge. Every event he runs breaks the internet. Every controversy turns into free publicity. But the question now isn't about size. It's about soul. Because once the viewers stop believing you're real, it doesn't matter how many are still watching. The fall doesn't happen when your stats drop. It happens when people stop caring. So where does that leave Cenat? Maybe still at the top, but alone on a mountain he built himself. And if history has taught the internet anything, it's this: no one stays untouchable forever.